Sapphire, the Justice call you up tomorrow and they say, hey, we want to bring you up, but you have to dye your hair
blue and red?
Blue and red.
Oh, he'll do it.
You got to get an earring. You got to get a nose ring.
Ooh.
And you got to start wearing, like, thick gold chains.
Ooh.
You going to do it?
Nah, you'll do it.
What am I, the new 6ix9ine? What's going on?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Queue Up, the official podcast of Team Envy. If this is your first time listening, we take you inside the world of esports and gaming with the people who know it best. I'm your host, Jay Hairston.
And I am your, I guess, co-host. That's the word. Justin Rojas. If it's your first time watching, we post to the podcast services every Monday with new episodes and every Wednesday for the video version on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Team Envy.
Check us out. We got two special guests today. The Contenders guys. What's up? Fire and Fischer in the house.
Good morning.
Hey, how's
They're
it going?
asleep. They said they usually don't wake up till about noon. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm a little low on energy, but we'll get there.
We'll get there? Yeah, we'll hype it up. We'll hype it up. Give them our listeners, give them your full name and what it is you do and how much you make after taxes.
Go. You don't have to do that last part. Sure, just don't do that last part.
Yeah, I don't know if we can say that on the podcast.
I'm not sure about that one. All right, so my name is Anthony King, also known as Fire. I am the main support for Team Envy, and I do a little bit of shot calling and ult tracking.
Yeah, my name is Jehg. I'm Danish. I'm the Flex DPS player for Team Envy, and I just frag out.
Right on. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the podcast. So we're going to, big stuff going on. Big stuff going on in the world of Overwatch specifically. We got new characters. We got new people joining Contenders. We got people leaving Contenders. Shout out McGravy. That's got to be bittersweet, man, right?
It was like
see
a
your boy
to me.
move up.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your initial thought? Was there communication that went down when he got the call to go to Mayhem? Did he reach out to you guys first? Like, how did it happen?
I imagine it was a bat signal of the Mayhem logo in the sky.
He was pretty transparent about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the first time he got the call, he was like, "Yeah, I've got this trial for Mayhem. I want to do it, and if it goes well, then he'll probably go up to Owl." I think we're all happy for him at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Like he let us know along the way, and like me and him have been through so much through like Envision to Envy, like seeing him happy and sad, arguing, having good times, like seeing this guy like sick to death, like having a heat stroke in San Diego, like.
Tell us about that.
What's the
I want to hear the heat stroke.
So on Team Envision, it was Contender Season 0 for qualifying for Contenders actually, and that's the same season that Team Envy won. So we went to boot camp in San Diego at a LAN cafe or something. I forget what it was called. It was like Game Lane or something. I don't know, but it was like 110 degrees outside. The AC didn't work. We were all stacked up. Like chair to chair, like really cramped together. And this man is just like he's like Michael Jordan, like having a flu, like game 4, like
just came alive.
He's like dying, like play through the game, like afterwards, like we won it, but he was sick to death.
Took a toll on him, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have a game this Wednesday.
Yeah, this
Wednesday night, right? Who's that against?
That was against Square One.
Square One.
Yeah.
Tell us about Square One. What do you know? What's the
Square One's the Contenders Trials winners. The first
The
place.
best trials teams.
They're no slouches, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they're no slouches, but they're no slouches because they're the best at what they do, and what they do is GOATs.
Yeah.
So 3-3.
How's your goats? How's that transition been to the 3-3 meta?
It was rough in the beginning, but I think once we sorted out all our issues and knew the roles of every single player, we got really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it changed a little bit again because there were some nerfs to Brig, and we had to figure out a new way to play again. But I think overall we're pretty happy with how our GOATs is going.
Yeah.
But then you have the PTR, the patch notes that just got released, and it looks like big changes are coming.
Very big changes.
I think somebody from the Overwatch League team was just hanging out in Twitch chat the first week of Owl and just goats, sleepy emoji, spammed on regular. Like, okay, we got to do something. We got to shake this up. So it looks like a lot of characters are getting damage characters are getting buffs. You have a new character in Baptiste, which we'll talk about. But how are you guys
Is
feeling?
it Baptiste or Baptiste?
Baptiste?
I thought it was Baptiste.
I think it's Baptiste. I don't think you say the.
Batista?
You don't say the P?
I don't think you say
Batista.
because he's from Haiti or something.
I thought he's French.
He's
It's a
Haitian.
French
but
name.
they speak French.
Because they use French.
I think he's Haitian.
learning
it's like
Sombra.
Portuguese is spoken in Brazil, you know? Like,
Ah.
I think it's Baptiste.
I'm probably the only person at the table that hasn't been outside the country, so
really?
excuse my non-worldliness.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What do you guys think? Have you guys had a chance to play the B guy?
Played him.
Calling me out in the comments.
Played him a little bit on the PTR. He seems really fun. First of all, I don't know if he'll be like super meta breaking. I haven't gotten that impression yet. I don't think he's like necessarily super good in goats or against goats. I think you could see some play in like Orisa strategies where you like set up with a Bastion or something because of the immortality field, but I don't.
How's it make you feel, Jay, getting
Bastion in a box. That's the new strat. Bastion in a box.
Jay's a Bastion main, just to put that out
I
there.
am.
Throw that out there.
Proud.
Proud
No
Bastion
shame in
main.
my game. No, but when you see all these, so the traditional goats combo, it's farming ult, it's getting that Zarya grab in, it's the Diva bomb, and then it's the Transcendence, and hoping you catch somebody, slip in and timing's right. So with a field potentially surrounding all that, how does that change the game?
I don't think himself specifically like counters goats, but I think he'd be good in like DPS comps maybe, or some sort of like niche comp with like Sombra. I don't know, cause you can't put him in a goats comp because goats is like you have like face roll characters like Brig and characters with like low cooldowns. So to have a character like Baptiste with like a 17-second like immortality field, like it's definitely good against the graph combo, but.
So for anyone who hasn't had a chance to check him out yet, basically his defensive technique is a big like digital box where everything is nullified inside. And you throw anything in there, it will not kill you. It brings you down to low health, but you survive with, 50 health?
40 HP.
Like 20% HP.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. You can get hit by traffic. I've been seeing bros posting videos of like, what's the level with the cars, like the highway, and they're just sitting in the highway, sitting in traffic in the box, and it just knocks them up. It's crazy. Like to think that could like be in competitive play now is a little scary.
Yeah, as like a rollout to get to the point faster.
So how does that work for a professional or professionals like yourselves? Like when you have a new character, that obviously changes a lot. Like, do you have to immediately get in the lab and like start theory crafting and go, okay, like how can we use this? Does this hit the comp? Does this change things? Talk to us about that.
You want to go for that?
I think with every hero that gets released into the game, we're always talking about it. At least in like a team environment, we're always talking about it. I think you have to get into the lab, like you say, and talk about what can he be good, what heroes is he good against, like what is he good with and stuff. And as soon as this hero is the PTR, we're probably gonna, or as soon as our patch from Contenders is the patch we're gonna play on, then we're probably gonna have to play on PTR, which means we're gonna have to play a lot of Baptiste. So as soon as he's released, we're gonna have to try him out.
So you're a support player, Fire, correct? Is that somebody like you're gonna have to pick up very quickly? Or you're just like, please don't be good, so I can just stay on my characters. I just want to stay on Lucio.
Like even though they've nerfed Lucio, Lucio's nerfed in he's been nerfed in like the goat sense, in the sense that you can't like speed around the map and like just like capitalize on people. But I feel like Baptiste has to be used in like triple support comps maybe, or maybe like Lucio Baptiste.
Okay.
So like maybe. It's like before people tried out Lucio Brig, like when she first came out, and they tried playing her as like a second support, but you didn't really have that much heals, right? But with Baptiste, you have like an immortality field, and
So you're saying he could potentially strengthen goats, not end goats?
maybe not strengthen goats. Maybe he could be played in like Sombra, Baptiste, and then you have like Winston, Monkey, Lucio, and maybe like missing a character there, but. Just having like the immortality field against goats, and like having a Sombra to like EMP and like farm EMPs off cooldown, like hack targets and like speed for them. Maybe that could be something.
And Sombra is huge right now. I did not expect like Sombra to be that much of a factor going into this season. And Jehg, I hope I'm not pronouncing it wrong, but Jehg, the most recent Dallas field game versus Shanghai was killing us. We were rolling them until that dude switched to Sombra, and it was like we didn't know what was going on. Did you guys watch the game?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the game? Seeing Sombra just dominate, and then of course the Shang 9 on the payload. The Shang 9.
We've known about the Sombra thing for a while now. That it's really good against goats because of the way Sombra works. You can literally just sit there and shoot all the tanks that the enemy has. You're gonna build ult super fast, and if you hit a good ult, if you hit a good EMP, then it's basically just a fight winner.
Yeah.
So Ding was really good in Korea, even at playing Sombra, and I think they're just really good at executing it.
So one thing I noticed, Unko, Mr. Zenyatta Master, he tends to stay back and wait for that EMP to go off and come in. Is that something that you're paying attention to and trying to do often as well? Are you aware of that, Sombra? Like, how do you track something you can't see?
It's pretty hard to track. Like when the Sombra comes behind you and she's like farming your diva, like you really have to. It's really easy to farm EMP. Like if she sits behind you for like 3 seconds, that's like 40%. Like one clip is like 40%.
So you're saying she's getting behind enemy lines, just shooting the big tanks in the back, and then immediately recalling, and then she just does that until the EMP charges it. So it's an EMP race for her?
Yeah, it's an EMP race for her, but her biggest weakness is that when she's farming her EMP and then when she recalls, that's your time to go in. And then if you don't go in, you're kind of just like sitting on the back foot and you don't have like an offensive like strategy.
That timing is so important.
Yeah.
I tried Sombra after watching AKM play him week 1.
AKM's really good at Sombra.
AKM's really good at Sombra. So is RCK. Shout out to RCK who's been playing him really well. But I just cannot get her. I hack 50 people a game and I'm still losing every single game. So
it's all timing, right?
This is good. This is good information to expand my hero pool, if you will.
Well, what a lot of you guys might not realize is that the teams, the Overwatch League teams, scrim all of the time, right? Constantly, and they're scrimming against you guys like all of the time. So these guys have the real insider knowledge as to like the strengths and weaknesses of the fuel and their comps, like their experimental ideas, because they're not going to use those against the other Overwatch League teams because they don't want them to like know in the real games. So you guys are the lab for the fuel.
Exactly.
Don't disclose any of that information, of course. But what's that like?
It's something that I think is really, really good, and it was something that I had lacking when I was playing in Optic, because there wasn't much correlation between the OWL team and the Academy team. We didn't have any communication. We didn't practice against them. But with Envy and now with Aero, I think Aero's a big part of it because he was part of Fusion University before, so he knows how important it is to make your OWL team practice your Academy team, because you can try out strats, and eventually these Academy players will probably be an OWL someday. So it's not like they're worse players than you at all.
So you guys probably know the Dallas Fuel better than anyone, I would argue, because you've played them so much. What do you think their biggest strength is right now?
Without giving away the secrets, because we want them to keep winning.
Exactly. Careful. Tread softly.
Like hero-wise?
Just in terms of like when they're at their best, what are they doing as a team? What do you see? Not necessarily like tactics, but like is it the shot calling? Is it like what is the special sauce that when they're on they're just unbeatable?
Okay, yeah. So it's like some things that you can see like in scrims compared to a match is that like the confidence that the Fuel has in scrims. Like sometimes it doesn't translate over. Like I think Goji once said that he was nervous like after a match, and you can really see it. Like you'll get dominated like right before the match they have, and then they'll kind of struggle. They'll like go like 3-2 against Shanghai Dragons, but like if they have that confidence like going into the match, they're an unstoppable beast. Cause like they'll always go first. They'll always have a plan ahead of time. And
so it's really just getting comfortable, like being comfortable on that stage. It's like clockwork. You just get up there, you do it, and yeah, because we've seen two very different Dallas Fuel teams. We had the no-shows week 1, and then they came back strong, and then the no-shows again. And I felt like versus Shanghai, you got like a little half and half. They started out strong. Sombra was thrown in the mix. Sombra was thrown in the mix, and then they luckily pulled it back at the end with a little help from Shanghai.
They go against them next week, though, right?
Yeah. They do run it back week 2, so it'll be very interesting. I would say we're considered the favorites, but I'm biased. And I think I'm hearing that a lot because of our coaching staff and, the work they're going to put in. We have an army of coaches. How many coaches do we have? Like 5?
Is it 5 now?
It's like 5 or 6
Arrow,
dudes like lined
Jane, Tickety,
Vol'jin,
Coco, Vol'jin.
Look at this dude naming them all.
Did I miss anybody? I think that's
everybody. I think you got them all.
Yeah,
I hope so, at least.
Yeah.
Let's have like a second team.
Tasmom doesn't count.
Just looking at the first team.
Tasmom.
Tasmom does not count as anything for the team. Sorry, Tasmom.
Sorry, Tasmom. No, with that kind of attention to detail, like, and you're looking at the game footage from week 1, you have to assume that the Fuel are going to come back stronger, right? So,
what do you think they did what they were weak on this last match?
Just general play against the Sombra.
Yeah.
You know, we try to give them as much practice against it, but
So
it's better than no practice.
In the scrims, who's wrecking them as Sombra on the team?
We have a couple of Sombra players right now.
Yeah, we're trying to make it consistent right now.
So I'm sitting at the bar watching the game. We had a watch party like here in downtown Dallas.
Right.
And we're sitting here trying to figure out what counters a Sombra. Like, how do you shut down a Sombra? There's kind of the Brigida shield, but, I mean, is there anything you can do versus Sombra right now?
In this meta, it's a lot about timing.
Yeah.
It's a lot about your supports knowing where to position. Generally, when the enemies have an EMP, it's really rough to do anything because you kind of want to bait like some people into getting hit so you can still kind of save them, but you also want them to use the EMP. So when they have EMP, it's all about positioning, and when they don't have EMP, it's all about timing because you have a small window where you can do stuff when the Sombra's not on your back shooting your tanks.
What about a Torbjorn? Shout out to Fran. You put a no. Hear me out. Okay. You put a turret in the back line, right? And as soon as she appears, that thing's on her.
If she knows where it is, she might like LOS it.
Yeah.
And then you can't really get the
So
hack
she
off.
can see you set it up. She's like, "There's the turret right there. I'm gonna go ahead and avoid that
the
thing."
turret's shooting my Ryan right there.
Yep.
It's
And I'm
shoot
gonna
at me in a
hack
second.
you and EMP everybody. Wipe GG.
Unfortunately, it's not that good against her.
I wish it was.
Man, so we just started the next season for those of us plebs that aren't playing professionally. So placements are happening like over the weekend. I haven't finished my placements. I'm doing really bad. I think I'm like 4 down, 2 up or something. It's pretty awful. What do you guys typically place at unranked?
4,400 probably.
Just instantly. And how many wins out of the 10 is that when you play the 10 placement matches?
It depends what your account was last season, but generally, if you're like going half and half or like 6-4 or like 4-6, you're gonna get around where you ended.
Like as a pro playing this game, what is your win-lose ratio? Because you're playing against everybody that's your skill level. Like me, it's so 50-50.
It's a coin flip, literally. You queue up and it's a coin flip, especially if you solo queue. I feel like it's a little better if you play with somebody. Do you guys play together? Because you guys can play with 2 people in a group, correct?
They can play with
2 or 3,
right?
Yeah.
Really? Like Contenders doesn't regulate that?
Yeah, we have no restrictions.
Interesting. So you guys could just
Yeah.
stack it up.
Yeah, we should just do a retreat in like VPM to West Coast, so we get all players.
So you guys just all insta-lock damage? Or do you guys play your actual roles?
We play generally our roles.
Yeah, if it's East Coast, we might all.
Yeah, if we're playing East and if the games are pretty bad, then we might just play something we want. But when we're playing West, we're playing with all the OWL players, and it's always good games if you have all the OWL players.
Who's the most toxic on the team when you guys are grinding? Be honest.
Crimson? Just throw one in the bus?
Yeah, maybe Crimson. I think Trill has moments where he gets like really mad at ranked players.
He gets really mad. Yeah. Like slamming the desk.
Yeah.
Who gets mad like internally? Like who's like throwing shade like at teammates? Like
So like passive aggressive?
yes, there you go. Because that's me. That's me. I'll never get banned.
I think Fire is a little bit passive.
That's you.
I think it's a little passive aggressive.
I don't know about goats.
My passive aggressiveness, that's gonna get me in trouble. So I need a second account because I'm already getting hated on because I'm Bastion. So I mean, everybody's, something goes wrong, team's not winning. It's Bastion's fault immediately, always. Building around the Bastion.
Agree.
Agreed. Yeah.
When it was the Hanzo Zarya meta, you never played Hanzo?
I never played Hanzo. I
was
couldn't
just
get
Bastion?
the timing down.
Dang.
I couldn't get the arc of the arrow, and I'm just not good at it.
Yeah, he definitely just hit scan straight up. Like you got to see the crosshair line up, and that's not
Just
and then just
all
hold
it is.
left click. That's all Jay does.
I'm good at that though. I'm a mean left clicker.
See, I've been playing a lot of tank lately, and people don't typically blame the tank because it's like hard to sometimes.
Yeah, they get CC'd a lot. Like this meta, it's like all about displacement. So you have like Lucio Boops, you have Brick Sun, Brick Bash, or Brick Flail, I mean.
Diva Boop, Rhine Swing, in. sleeps, hacks.
If people don't know Overwatch, they would think you're speaking a foreign language. When you say Diva Books, Zargrav. It's like, what is this made-up Star Trek language?
It's almost like playing WoW, though. Like you get CC'd
yeah.
for a while.
I like, so with Baptiste,
Baptiste.
His box reminds me of old school World of Warcraft raiding, because you had to, for certain bosses, you had to get in certain areas. That means coordination. 40 people have to move inside of an area to null out damage, or you automatically wipe. You know, the boss's damage was just so great that if you weren't in that box, insta death, and you had to start over. So I think it's cool. It almost feels like they're bringing in that mechanic with the box. It's like when a Diva Bomb goes off, all right, everybody in the box, or you put the put the box on the Diva Bomb, correct? You can throw it on top of it, and it nulls it out. I think I've only played him once, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. But it's cool to see that, because I'm an old school World of Warcraft player.
Okay.
You guys ever play?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I got in during MOP, but I didn't play for that long.
You were a Shadow Priest.
Nah.
What were you?
A Feral Druid.
Gross.
I only PvP'd. I hate questing so much. I only played PvP in WoW.
The grind was real, man. What is it up to now? Like 120 level cap, something like that?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. What do you guys play when you're not playing Overwatch?
It's a variety of games.
Yeah. Like sometimes we do like team stuff where we play like hide and seek games, like Witch It. It's like a game on Steam where you're literally a witch and you pick an object and then you hide as an object. So like I could be a chair. or something.
Yeah.
So like
yeah.
stupid games like that. We
I
play.
have played that.
We play as a team, just for like bonding and like just have fun. But like
Nice.
individually, we'd like play. Maybe people play League. Maybe we play Apex right now.
Pummel Party.
Pummel Party is a good one.
Not what I expected. I expect Fire to say like Kingdom Hearts 3 or something. Nah.
I haven't played Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy.
You've played none of them.
Never.
Wow.
Chrono Trigger.
You're blowing my mind right now.
Yeah.
How old are you?
21.
21. Oh, so
I turned 22 in May.
okay.
I'm still a young boy.
You're a young pup. A young boy. Who's the youngest on the team right now?
Sharp.
Sharp.
17.
Sharp 17 still.
17, man. What were you guys doing at 17? I want to know what these viewers are doing with their lives. Probably in school and getting good education. Good for you. Keep at it.
I was ditching weights class, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Oh man.
So let's talk a little bit about this Contenders roster stuff going on. People changing. Well, you have a 7-man Contenders roster, right? So what's that like first? Like it with a 6-man team and you just rotate the one guy? How does that work?
It's an interesting concept, and it's a good concept, because if you are planning to make Overwatch League, then you are probably going to have to share the spotlight with other people. And most Overwatch League teams have more than 6 players. Some even have the full 12. So introducing this dynamic into a Contenders team, I think it's healthy. I was a little skeptic at first, I'm not going to lie, but just having that outside perspective of another pro player that's sitting in your scrims and can look at your mistakes is really healthy. So I think overall, it's a really good thing.
Okay, so with the transition, I mean, there's the two-way stuff now, right? So how I don't know, has anyone utilized the two-way transitions for the Contenders team?
Like
in all, yeah. Like,
yeah, like in playing OWL, yeah.
Yeah.
So you have who are the people on two-way
Okay,
contracts?
so
I think
Panker's on a
Panker,
two-way, Elk is on a
Elk.
two-way.
Yeah.
I think so.
Fusions was.
Yeah, now he's full OWL.
Yeah, he's full out, right? So for those of you guys that don't know, you have this ability to utilize your Overwatch Contenders team to bring those players to your Overwatch League team for specific matches. I think you get
2 matches per
two
stage.
matches. And then if they go twice, then they officially become part of the team. Is that how it goes?
I think if you've done your 2 matches, then you can't play anymore until you're on a real Overwatch League contract. I think that's how it works.
Right.
Okay.
So you can play your 2 matches, and then you still have to play Contenders. If you play more than 2 matches in a stage, then you can't play with the Contenders team. So now that Fusions has played 3 matches, he can't play with the Contenders teams anymore.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, Fusions played 2 matches, and then on the 3rd game they submitted the roster, and then they were like Fusions can't play,
Yeah.
and then after the match they were in talks of getting Fusions on a real Overwatch League contract. So people like Elk, Apply, Maybe Panker. Like as soon as they play their 2 games, they're like kind of stuck because they can't play in any Contenders matches. And then I think if you play one OWL match, you can't play in the same week of Contenders.
Okay.
That could be a tremendous opportunity, especially for some of the struggling teams right now in the Overwatch League. You think about the LA teams come to mind. I think they have 1 win between both of the LA teams.
Yeah.
Valiant's not looking too hot right now.
Is actually out. They have been eliminated for the Stage 1 playoffs. So is that the time to potentially bring in somebody and say, hey, let's give them a shot. Let's at least get 1 game in and see if it shakes things up.
I don't think Valiant have an academy team though to utilize that.
Can they pull from another academy team?
I'm not sure.
That's a good question. I don't know how
I'm not sure how that would
rules
work.
were on that. But let's talk about maybe the elephant in the room. What about Gladiators? If they pulled up one of their Contenders players and we see...
Who are you talking about?
I don't know.
Justin?
Maybe they pull XQC on the stage one day. What do you guys think about that?
The bad boy of Overwatch. What do you think about him joining Contenders?
He brings a lot of viewers back to Overwatch, I guess.
Agreed.
Like he's a really influential person himself. So...
Does he fit in this meta? He's known for his Winston play.
I think even before that, he was known for his Ryan.
That's true. That's very true. He did play some Ryan for us back in the day.
That's interesting.
So you think he could just fit right in and he's good to go?
I think XCC is like the type of player to like adapt over the match. So like maybe they'll lose like the first map, like a Koth map or something, and then like over time, like he'll like really start adapting. Like he's not as he's not that bad, you know.
He's probably the energy in a lot of teams.
Right.
Like, if you're like down a map or like down a Koth map or something, he'll just go again and then
and then everyone's like, yes, let's go again.
And you need those guys to get you fired up. I think right now AKM serves as that for our team. So
yeah, Gravy was like that for our team.
Who is it?
Gravy.
Gravy.
Before he left, yeah.
Now it's your job.
Yeah.
Who's picking up the flag and just
pass the torch.
Man, I think that's so important to see in Overwatch is since you're playing consecutive maps, that you know the mental strain it can be if you lose the first one, like that puts you in a tough position for the rest, just mentally. Having somebody on the team that's rallying you, that's getting your energy going is more important here than I see in like a lot of other games. How does that, like, for you guys, I mean, you're not playing on the big stage, which I think that's even more stressful and taxing when you have an audience of, like, 500 people watching you when you screw up. How do you guys handle that internally?
I don't think we have big issues with, like, low energy levels or, like, if we're down a map. I don't think it takes a toll on anyone, per se, mentally. I think we're all pretty okay at that.
Yeah, like, right now, we'll like, joke it off and, like, forget about it. And then, like, we just move on to the next thing.
Do you how much time do you spend like trying to, like, literally in between 2 maps correct what might have made mistakes on, and moving into the next map and just moving forward? Because I can see the difference between like brushing it off, but also you want to fix what happened so you can improve.
It varies a lot. It could take 10 seconds. It could take 3 minutes. Like it depends on the situation. Sometimes it's just very clear and it's just don't do this next time, move on, or it's more intricate than that, and then we have to actually sit there and pause the game and talk about it and get everyone involved.
Or like specifically, it goes like there's a lot of like intricate things, like you mismanage one cooldown and then that could capitalize on yourself, or maybe the other team's like running a comp that you don't necessarily see, so you have to necessarily like, or you have to like sit down, think about it, and be like, okay, why is this working? What are we doing wrong? Okay, what resources can we allocate to our main tank or any other players?
So XQC said that you can make more mistakes in GOATs than probably any other meta. Would you agree with that?
To a certain extent, yeah.
Just because everyone's so beefy and there's just so much heals to go around that.
Right.
You used to step out of line and Widowmaker would take your head off.
Hold on, just to clarify, do you mean you're allowed, like you have the ability to repair more mistakes, like you have more opportunities to recover
as a team? Say somebody's out of position, steps in front of the Rhine shield, something like that. In the DPS meta, or like something like a Tracer or a Widowmaker, bam, you're dead. One step out of line. This you can take a shot, to the chest and kind of back up behind the shield, and you're good to go.
Take a second,
yeah. Positioning isn't as punishable as it was in other metas, but I think cooldown management is super punishable in this meta.
So if you like blue and ult in this meta, that's like it probably.
Right. So say like your Ryan gets, so say you engage, your Ryan gets slow, you use your bubble and speed or something, and then you Zen trances, but the enemy team has grab and Diva Bomb. Maybe they can just grab and just wipe you instead of just having to combo.
Yeah, so that's the most. That's where you're getting punished is on the ults, not with the mechanical missteps on other pieces as much.
To an extent, yeah.
It could be mechanical missteps in terms of like maybe Zarya's like high ground and you don't like take steps to like clear high ground, or maybe like a Diva sitting in your back line. So
who do you think's the most mechanically adept player on Envy right now?
Who would you say?
I don't know.
Because it's goats.
Because mechanics is like super hard to define. I think.
Like, can you?
If you were talking like straight aim or like straight tracking, it's sharp for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about like
executing tank,
like whoever's dominating at any given moment, maybe Trill.
Yeah, maybe.
But he gets CC'd a lot playing main too.
Yeah.
If you were doing the whole gamut of all the heroes 1v1, who do you think would come out on top?
So like doing like a
tournament,
like a
Mystery
tournament of
DM
like
1v1?
each character.
Mortal Kombat.
I guess it's like that's not fair because DPS takes up like over half of the roster. I guess technically.
I think I would win.
Yeah.
But you also said you could beat me in Smash Bros before we started filming, so I don't know.
Yeah, but you haven't seen my Wii Fit trainer though.
I think Jar might be both of you.
We were talking about momentum in the gaming world. It tends to go by the name snowballing and how important that is. When the team starts rolling, it's so hard to shut that down. You really need either, like we talked about, an XQC or an AKM to like really fire up the squad and make a play. All it takes is one play and good timing, good positioning, those kind of things to turn it all around. I think you saw that in the Shanghai game. It may have came from the C9. I like to think that we did play better. So, game 5, man. We still took it to game 5 and we won that. That's not easy. So
it happens to us all.
Yeah. Who would you say is the best player in Contenders right now? You could say yourself. That's fine. This is an open.
Can we be region specific? Because there's a lot of like.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Let's
Okay,
do like.
Yeah, let's talk regions to the non-worldly guy. Let's do that.
So Korea, who are you? 100%.
Okay.
I think.
Fire.
Yeah.
I think it has to be hero specific. Maybe like Zarya. So like. I think many contenders Zaryas from like last season are getting better, but I think maybe like Neist on Fusion.
And do you think that these guys aren't? Is it all age cap why they're not in OWL? Do you think, or is there something else behind it? Like these really amazing players.
Well, talking about Fusion, probably Alarm's still good. Alarm, and I think people sleep on Byram, who plays for Energy.
Byram's really good.
He's like a mini Jonak.
Alarm is 100% just age. I think there might be like some of the younger players, maybe in Korea, might have like I've heard a lot about attitude issues in lower teams where they have like really really young players like 14, 15, and they have hard attitude issues, and they're really good players, but they're just mentally they're just not working in a team environment. Talk
to us about that. Like, what role does maturity play, in professional esports?
It plays a big role. I think being able to like in a team environment specifically, I think it takes a huge role in like how you improve as a team, how you like sit there and self-criticize.
Being able to take criticism, being able to talk about stuff.
Just getting along. Do you guys have roommates, or do you guys live alone? Yeah. So just getting along with your roommate, that's something that someone at that age would learn if they went to college or something like that.
I think that's the easy part.
That's the easy part.
Because we're all so young.
Do you just settle it on the game? Any house disagreements? You just jump on the game?
We have that many house disagreements. We're just all sitting at our PCs just playing the game.
They're just zoned out.
Like, do you want food?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah, maybe that's the deciding factor. Like, who gets to choose dinner tonight? It's up to who wins.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I'd kill at that. Smash Bros? Let's go. Pizza every night. I get to choose every night.
I think we have the most house disagreements with Sharp. all the takeouts.
Yeah,
he's really picky. I don't think he's picky, but I don't know.
Yeah, picky eaters. That's a big deal for me. Like, that's a real huge issue. If I have to eat food based on like everyone else's preferences, because I like to eat a lot of different things. So when you guys are playing as a team and you're living together and you have your scrims or whatever and you're playing together and you have to decide like who's the pickiest eater, and what will they? What's like the most basic thing they won't eat?
Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box is good.
It's the best food.
It's the best.
You're off the team.
He's cut. He's cut right now. Match day dinner.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got? What's the go-to?
I don't know. We do a lot of different things all the time.
Yeah.
Like recently, we went out to a steakhouse because McGravy got promoted.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Sometimes we went out to like Korean barbecue. Sometimes we just order in, get like pizza or something.
Have you guys been out? I know you guys moved here recently, more or less. I mean, a year. I think you've been here almost a year now or something. Right?
Like 8 months.
8 months.
Yeah.
So where do you guys? How's the transition moving to Dallas? I'm born and raised here, so like, I have no concept of what it's like to move somewhere, because I never have. How's that transition been?
It kind of reminds me of home because where I lived in Maryland, and it's like hot summers, humid summers, and like cold winters. Like the only thing Dallas doesn't have is snow, because it gets really cold.
We have like a little bit of snow every now and then. I guess you haven't seen it this past year, right? We haven't had snow yet.
Is that just northern Texas?
It's just random. Like today being freaking 20 degrees outside.
like
It might
the
snow
coldest
today.
day
I
of
don't
the
know.
year.
It's the middle of, or it's beginning of March now, and it could literally snow. You just never know sometimes.
Baltimore, Maryland?
Like 20 minutes from Baltimore.
Yeah.
That's pretty hood. I've been up there. My brother. That's rough.
Baltimore Aquarium.
I would stay inside and play
Yeah.
video games a lot as well. So, what is your ethnicity? I'm looking at you, and I feel like we kind of look alike. We have very similar hair, man. Like, what's the ethnicity breakdown?
On my mom's side, I'm like part El Salvadorian, part Portuguese, and then on my dad's side, part black.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you speak any other languages?
A little bit of Spanish. Like I can understand Spanish more than I speak it. Like I took AP Spanish, but after high school, I just like stopped.
Say something in Spanish. Describe
on
McGravy's
the
play.
spot here.
No, first Mayhem game. Describe McGravy's play in Spanish.
Sucio. Juicy. Juicy.
Fuego.
Fuego.
You would be
Ridiculous.
Fuego.
That's my Smurf name in
Oh.
comp.
Caliente. That's spicy?
Hot,
Caliente.
whatever.
Yeah.
Hot in general.
It's hot or spicy, yeah.
Okay, so Fischer moving here, a little bit of a different take, I would assume.
It's a different continent. I mean, I've lived here before. The first time I ever moved by playing video games was I was living in LA with the Hammers.
Okay.
And for me, it's a pretty easy transition. I'm not super like attached to anything I have in Denmark except for my mom. Like, love my mom, so. But in terms of moving, is not that big of a deal for me, and I think I get along with my teammates pretty well. So it's pretty easy.
Do you like to travel?
I like being different places, but I don't like the traveling part.
Understandable.
So like for World Cup, for example, I've been to China and Thailand, and those are really cool experiences. I love checking out those areas, but don't like the flying.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone likes to fly.
Yeah, that's probably the least pleasurable.
Justin,
part.
you live on a plane, don't you?
I do. I just got back from Seattle, or no, actually, I came back from Vancouver last night because I was in Seattle. Then drove up to Vancouver and came back. And I like to travel a lot, but like the travel, again, it's hard to recover after a trip, right? And you guys are expected to travel somewhere, like say for World Cup, and then immediately play pretty much. And
Yeah.
having that mental space, adjusting to time zones. How does that impact your gameplay?
I think it depends person to person. Like some people take on jet lag more than others. Like Sharp himself will say jet lag is a myth.
Jet lag is a myth, and then the next day he'll just sleep for 14 hours. Yeah, it's different from person to person. I think a lot of people even if you're jet lagged or tired a little bit, when you walk on stage, and once you sit down at the PCs, you put your headsets on, and everyone knows it's game time, then you won't feel it.
Nice.
That's good. I mean, with Overwatch League, approaching that traveling schedule in the next coming years, that's the goal, right? To travel city to city, country to country. Let's say that's going to become your schedule. Is that something? Would you prefer to do that, or would you really prefer how it's structured right now, where you're just in LA and constantly playing in LA? I mean, this becomes your life. So, what would you rather do?
I don't know. I want to try both.
Just get a little taste of
Yeah,
both.
this is let me try both. I don't know. I think the structure already is pretty good. I don't know how the scheduling would work. It seems like a lot of time wasted by if you're in LA right now doing a match and then you have to go all the way to New York or whatever.
Not to mention Korea and China.
Yeah.
And Paris.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn on both because
I think it's cool, but I don't know if it's good.
I don't know about the health of the game. Just the viewership. It seems like a logistical nightmare.
Do you think it'll increase the worldwide audience for it? Maybe because you're going to have these LAN events and people are going to become fans. I mean, that's the big goal, is to experience esports in person. A lot of the flack you'll hear is like, oh, why would you want to watch people playing video games, and then why would you want to go somewhere to watch people play video games? But when you do it, it's such a different experience that I think people need to have that barrier of entry lowered so they can experience it for one time, and then they're like, oh, I get it, this is awesome.
I had that argument recently with a guy on Twitter, why would people watch other people play video games? And I'm not going to say he was old, I'll say he was seasoned. And he came from a traditional sports background, which I did as well. Right. And I had to explain to him, it's like, well, okay, why do you watch Tom Brady? Why don't you go outside and throw the football around? You can do that, right? I think it's this innate sense to want to see the game, whatever it may be, played at the highest level.
Yeah.
And you guys do that. So it's interesting. It's exciting. It's like, wow, I want to do that when I'm sitting at my desk. I want to do that. Just like when I was lacing up the Jordans as a kid, I want to be like Mike. It's the exact same thing. Yeah. There's really no difference.
I think it's definitely going to boost viewership, though. I think it's definitely going to take more fans into the game. When we were in China for the World Cup, they have their own social media site. They don't use Twitter. They don't use Twitch. They use a completely different platform. But when we saw the numbers that the Chinese social media and the Chinese Twitch page or whatever it's called had, it was enormous. Everyone was watching the World Cup at that time. So I think if you integrate that into the normal schedule where you have a match in NA and then you have a match in Asia or in China or in Korea or whatever, it'll definitely boost viewership.
And that was a big thing for Envy. Going to Korea for Apex and winning in Korea, that was a huge boost to our fandom and viewership, and spawned what is now the Dallas Fuel. So we've directly felt that impact, and hopefully we can go to these other countries and play and perform and then make new fans. Luckily, Dallas Fuel has a very international roster as is, which is very helpful. But considering some of these other teams aren't as diverse, that's probably going to be a boon for them to go to Paris, and they don't have any French players, but they perform really well. They'll make French fans. If they go to Hangzhou and they don't have any Chinese players, they'll make Chinese fans though. So for you guys in particular, you play online primarily, right? And so your viewership could be anywhere. Where do you think the bulk of your audience is at right now? Individually, it doesn't have to be as a team.
I think maybe it's runoff from Overwatch League.
Yeah. Maybe
people willing to see the up and coming talent.
And you're a US player, so
yeah.
There's not
Where's the Fuego fans at? They on Instagram?
Nah.
Are you on Instagram? You're 21. You better have an Instagram.
I don't even have a Tinder, man.
We're gonna have
just Tinder. His fans are on Tinder. Only Tinder. If you need to find fire, get on that Tinder.
And he probably has his twitch.tv link as his bio. Check me out, girl.
Yeah, professional athlete.
Yeah.
I love playing football as a kid, man.
But being an international player, do you have a more of audience, back home in the hometown, or are you now a North American player and people will follow you there?
I think I've been in NA long enough where the majority of my fans are probably NA as well. I for sure keep in touch with my EU friends and my EU contacts and stuff. So I think I do have some fans in EU. Like Fire said, I think a lot of the teams that might look at, or a lot of the fans that might look at Overwatch League might look at Contenders because they want to see, oh, Fuel has an academy team. We didn't know that, so they're gonna watch the stream. They're gonna look at the players.
Who has surprised you the most so far in the Overwatch League?
This season?
Yes.
AKM is a good contender for that, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Absolutely. He's playing out of his mind right
Yeah.
now. He's definitely carried some games. But you guys had the opportunity to play against Zach, and now he's kind of on your team a little bit. How does that feel? What are your thoughts on ZachaREEE?
Like, it's kind of like a love-hate thing, you know.
Okay.
I see the GRs and scrims, and I'm like, all right, this guy, this
So
guy
he's a
and his
troll
coach
even in
memes.
scrims.
Like even before that, he was on Fusion Uni. He was kind of like a troll. Like they're like kind of cocky, but he's not as cocky now. He's kind of humble. He just has his goats memes, and I kind of like it. I like this new Zach.
I'm so impressed by his just ability to negate the haters, as it were.
Yeah.
Because of his his known Brigitte play, and that he's just because of the meta, he's been forced to play pretty much exclusively Brigitte, and that's something that the fans kind of called out coming in. They're like, oh well, he's not a flex DPS, he's just gonna play Brigitte the whole time.
Right.
That's kind of what he's been doing, but that's not all he's capable of.
Yeah.
Right? So
Like before he played Sombra, and then I think after they won like Contender Season 2 in Poland, they were like, yeah, we just play Broken Heroes. And then Zach being on Sombra.
So Zach, youngster, just turned 21, and he's doing very well to be like on that stage. Is that something that's the goal for you guys, right? Like you want to be there tomorrow.
That's the goal for all of
Absolutely.
us.
Do you think you're ready to make the jump?
Yes.
Just no doubt, no question.
no
He
doubt?
answered first.
Question.
Confidence on this
there's
guy.
no-
Fire's not ready.
There's no question.
Fire's not ready right now, or he's not awake. One of the two.
He's
He
not
doesn't
awake.
wake up.
Zach just turned 18, by the way, not 21.
Oh, I can't even.
Can't even drink. Baby. That's why he's just now eligible to play in Overwatch League.
Nice.
Uh,
If you were to get called up,
Mhm.
let's say it, Dallas Fuel's roster is full, because obviously you'd want to play for the best team in the league. if you couldn't play for Dallas, who's a team you like their style, you like their, just their vibe,
You like their skins,
their colors.
I mean, as like a personal thing, Justice, the Washington Justice, being from Maryland,
Okay,
so like that's a good team for me.
little homecoming
Mhm.
type thing.
Let them get their W's finally.
I'm thinking really hard. That's a really great question.
You're torn on like Paris, like
Yeah,
being
you
EU.
kind of want to be on Paris because it's like EU pride and best coach in the world, Mr. Seda himself.
That's all right. We can cut that out. Shout out Aaron.
Shout out Arrow. Yeah, I would love to be on Paris just because of like all my EU friends and the whole concept of EU and
Sure.
all that. But in terms of colors, probably
Pretty
Hangzhou.
sharp.
Hangzhou, oh man, they have like the unfair advantage with their Spark colors right now.
Man, they are wildly popular.
They really
right now.
they have the
That
best skins.
cotton candy bubble gum. I don't get it. I don't get it personally. I'll stick to my blue.
Those are supposed to be Mayhem colors, right?
There's some story about that, about
Yeah.
trying to go that change the Mayhem McDonald's colors into the Miami Vice colors,
Yeah.
but
I'd support that.
but
I support
Spark's got that unlocked. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Justin, do you ever get nervous with the Paris team now that like Unco and AKM are gonna get homesick and they're just like, I kind of want to go back to old
I
Perry.
don't, because one of the things that I've noticed working with the players in Fuel, especially with Arrow coming in, is that Fuel isn't a team. Dallas Fuel and Envy in general they're just not teams. They're families now. And I feel like especially if you watch that last video piece we did with Unco, that it's not about working for an organization or playing on a team. It's being part of a family. And I feel like those guys are heavily integrated as part of our Dallas Fuel family now. And I think that will keep them wanting to play for us. And we're going to want them to keep doing that. So I'm not that worried about it. And I just came back from Vancouver yesterday, and I happened to meet a fan wearing a Dallas Fuel jersey at this Twitch event, and she had an Uncle jersey on, and she's a huge fan, former neuroscience scientist.
Oh wow.
Who
Big brain.
gave up doing neuroscience to move into illustration because she was such a big Overwatch fan that she wanted to be more involved in esports and gaming, and that's where her talent lied. There's not as much neuroscience going on in esports. There could be. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could probably track with that, and why they're performing well and stuff or not performing. But to see that, and she was a huge fan of Unco, and she's a huge fan of the field because of how even Envy back in the day, back when Chips was on and Taimu, like from day one, and being able to see the fans have that kind of reaction because of how our org, handles our players and teams. That really makes me confident that the people who want to play for us will, and the people we want to play for us will. So,
do you guys get that sense as you play for Envy, or is that something that you're still trying to work towards, that family bond, that unit? You guys get a lot of roster changes and moving pieces. So talk to us about that. Is that something that you guys feel? Is it something that you're hoping for in the near future?
It's something that's definitely in the back of my mind, because I definitely try to follow in the footsteps as old Envy, like winning Apex, just going to LANs, international events, being able to travel.
Is that inspiring to you to walk in and kind of see the trophies and the history here?
Yeah.
And you got the fresh gear on, so we're clearly taking care of you. Got the Envy merch on.
I don't have one yet.
You didn't get one yet?
Jacket.
We'll talk to you.
Find those. Those are hard to come by right now, actually. There's not a lot of stock. I don't even know if we have any stock of those at this point. So
I don't think so.
We'll figure it out. But we got some new fire merch. Not fire merch, but Caliente merchandise.
Caliente.
Coming out.
The new Envy drop.
Soon.
Yeah, we don't have a date on that, right?
Not quite yet.
No
but
spoilers.
you can check our Instagram, and you'll see some prototypes on there for some of the dudes.
Check us out.
Yeah.
I am so curious to see this XQC versus Envy game. There's like a storyline there. I feel like his return, you guys making a name for yourselves, like that's going to be a highly watched game. Is there extra pressure on that game, or is it just another day at the office?
I think the question is, will he play?
Ooh,
that is a question.
Ooh, he might not even play.
Do you think he'll play?
I think Panker is pretty integrated in that team, where it's not like, I don't necessarily think they need XQC to perform better. I think Panker is pretty good, and he's been with the team for a while. So I'm not entirely sure we'll see XQC play against us.
I think the fans are going to demand it. The fans want blood.
Probably.
They want to see they want to see XQC beat Dallas Fuel, I think, in some way, shape, or form, and this is the closest thing they can get to it. So you can imagine that Twitch chat's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't understand there's a lot of restrictions into being an Overwatch League player, and XQC being such a huge streamer, and that's really his passion, what he wants to do. And if you're an Overwatch League player, you're not allowed to stream during Overwatch League match times.
Right.
So I don't think you'll ever make it back to the league, because he wouldn't want to do that, because he doesn't want to put a restriction on there. So I think a lot of people are don't understand that you can't do a lot of these things as a player. So big streamers, I mean, it's surprising that DeFran ended up doing it, and you have to do it at the sacrifice of your personal stream. So that's a different dynamic you'll have to see, and that's why I don't think we'll see Overwatch League have XQC full time in it, but that one match, maybe just the one.
Just one time. One time.
Just one that gets
what do you
advanced.
think the logic is to picking him up? What, from a player perspective, what do you see the benefits being besides additional traffic to your team and eyes on your Contenders team?
Well, he brings a lot of fans to
Absolutely.
Legion.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there is much, because I think Jane hit the nail on the head. I think.
What was his tweet? I can't remember.
Something about
Glad's having a really good
immigration
lawyer.
Oh, the claps.
Yeah.
I did see that one.
That is important too.
So, I don't think he said anything publicly himself about the whole situation, but if he's just with Glad's because of a lawyer, then there's not much to talk about in in a game sense.
Right. So last time we saw XQC play was World Cup with a Canadian team that fell short, like another team I know that is near and dear to my heart.
I don't know. Are we going to see him again? We might not. I don't know.
Is World Cup still a thing?
That's a good question.
Know. They're talking about.
I want it to be.
I don't know. I hope you guys can get on that team. That would be cool to see you guys
Team Denmark?
repping the USA. Oh yeah, you have to go back.
Going back?
Yeah, you'd go.
Yeah, I have to go. I have to play with
Fire
Dave,
though. Fuego.
I think the only chance I play on a World Cup team is if there's no Overwatch League players. So maybe they make that a rule. Maybe there's no Overwatch League players in the next World Cup.
Becomes straight up. Yeah, I can see that. That's possible.
So we were talking about this earlier. Do they do Rookie of the Year this year? because technically last year in the
they were all
Overwatch League,
rookies.
everyone was a rookie. So is that an award this year?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
That is interesting.
That's be interesting.
I mean, do you think the difference between playing on stage for Overwatch League is any different than playing at World Cup or anything else, like bigger stages, or you feel it's the same?
Having been to a couple Contenders lands, like APAC, 2 Contender seasons of lands, it's a different experience each time because the game's different. You know, you're playing on different tick rates. You have some jitters at the start, and then as a team, you have to like adapt midway. It's really easy to get inside of your own head.
Yeah.
I think for me, because I'm really close with Calix, and me and Calix were playing on the national team, but he also plays in Overwatch League. So when we went to World Cup, for example, I think the fans are a lot more excited about repping for their country than a team per se. So in Thailand there was like 3,000. It was like a 3,000 audience or something. It was huge, and it just feels amazing to just play on that stage. And even Kellic said it was bigger than the OWL stage. So from that perspective, the fans are so crazy when it comes to countries.
So I get DM'd a lot about some of the players that aren't getting a lot of playing time currently on the Dallas Fuel, and I try to express to them it's all meta based right now. Like, they're still some of the most elite players in the world, and a meta swap can completely change things. You're seeing players like that were Widow mains season 1, on the bench. Like, everybody's asking like where Pine is, and where these guys.
Baby Bay, Taimu,
all these like big names. Yeah, absolutely, but they're not in meta. So it's not that they're bad. It's just that it's just not the right fit. But with these changes coming up, you could totally see a completely different starting lineup moving forward.
I think if Widow meta were to come back, you see more Baby Bay,
See more Taimu.
yeah. And then if you have like another Mercy meta, you might get more like Banny, maybe Harry.
I hope we see Custa back, man. We need some Custa on stage. Custa needs some time.
He's good. Custa's he's a really positive guy, and when he was on our team, I mean, obviously.
Say it. Say you miss him.
I miss Custa.
Miss you, Custa.
He's in jail on Valiant now.
He's in jail on Free Custa.
Yeah. Oof.
Oh man. I wanted to talk about. You said Tinder. You said the words. You said the words. DMs. Any girls in your DMs right now?
Any girls in your DMs, Fire?
No.
Don't lie to me.
No.
Come on, we're the same complexion.
Don't lie.
I don't put myself out there,
Yeah.
Oh,
Because you're too busy gaming. You guys can barely decide what you're eating.
He's blushing now.
Yes. No.
Do you even have
Breathe.
I'd be honored.
Do you have time for like a relationship? It seems like such a weird thing to balance when you're traveling, you're on teams, you've moved, you might move again soon. Like, getting into a commitment relationship as a esports professional seems tough.
It is.
It seems odd for me to get used to being in Dallas. Just like at any moment, or specifically like playing for the like the Overwatch League trials, like trialing out for different teams, knowing that you may or may not get picked up. Like McGravy, for instance, like it must have been hard for him to like really commit to Dallas. Like finally getting here, and then like a month or two later, just
immediately being uprooted. Yeah.
I gotta go, dude.
Yeah.
Bye.
I've been with my girlfriend for a year now, and it definitely shows when you're like traveling that is the hardest. It's like you move from place to place, you can't really see each other that often, and it's just rough overall. But
it's a long distance relationship,
yeah.
really.
But the support she's giving me is insane. So that's basically what's like keeping it alive.
Is it phone calls? Is it text? Is it playing Roblox together? What is it?
I mean, it's like Discord calls where we like play games or like just talk or like watch movies or whatever, and then like when we can, we see each other.
Has she been out here yet?
Yeah.
Right on.
That's cool.
She came out for Christmas and New Year's.
How does she feel about your fame? Seeing you,
The path to pro.
the path to
The
pro.
path to bro fame. I mean, it's not that like outrageous. It's not like I'm not super famous or anything.
I would say in the Overwatch scene you are. People know your name.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think she lives with it pretty well. I think.
Some
I think
some thoughts know your name.
I think she encourages it. If anything, she's like, tweet more, stream more, put more
she's
stuff
serving
out.
as like a manager. Or
Yeah,
something.
she's like, yeah.
Get your Instagram followers up. I support that.
Yeah.
Fire, you need a girl, man.
I need one of those.
You need one of those.
Manager.
Everybody needs one of those.
She makes food. It's great. I just play games. She just cooks food.
Does anyone on the team cook?
I mean, we all do a little bit.
Okay.
We all do a little bit.
Like sometimes we'll buy like a cut of steak and then we'll like watch whatever YouTube video of like someone making a steak sandwich or something, and then we'll try to replicate it, and
That's our next episode of Envy Eats, Mike. We get that.
Watching some video, somebody making a steak.
It was a good steak sandwich, honestly.
it was a good steak sandwich.
It's a very meta YouTube video where it's a YouTube video of the guys watching a YouTube video trying to make food.
ASMR is out of control right now. Shut it down. Just steak sizzling sounds.
It's almost like the one series. What is it? Bon Appetit with who is it? Claire, who makes gourmet candies. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it.
No.
She makes like Snickers, Twinkies.
Oh, like junk food.
Yeah,
like
like
making
junk
it
food.
homemade?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Like we sit there, watch a YouTube video, and go,
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna take a $14 New York strip steak and make a sandwich out of it.
So you have 80% of your brain dedicated to Overwatch, and the other 20% is
Music.
music and watching.
Yeah, but
cooking videos on
it's fun
YouTube.
though, and it brings us together like a little bit.
Yeah.
We're like,
Okay.
everyone's like contributing a little bit, like trying to season a steak. No one knows
Just
what they're
imagine you
doing.
guys circled in the kitchen.
Yeah,
Everyone
that's
has a part.
exactly what it is. Like literally just
A little
7 people
more-
standing in a
little more
kitchen over a piece of meat, and no one knows what's going on.
Who's the worst cook?
Trill.
Sure.
Yes.
And no hesitation. Like,
Straight
didn't even
up.
think. He was just waiting to give that answer. Sorry, Trill.
That's because of experience, though. If you have more experience, you know.
I think everybody can learn to cook. In my opinion, I think everyone can learn to cook. Some people, though, like, it'll just take a really long time.
Like me. I live off bacon that I get delivered to my door.
It's a good skill though, cooking. Like when I first moved to LA,
Debatable.
The very first time when I was younger,
Debatable.
like we ordered food all the time, and it gets so expensive, so unhealthy. If you start cooking a little bit, maybe you can cut down a little bit.
Sound like my mom right now.
So if you guys all got stranded on a desert island together as a team, whose jobs
Who's
are gonna become
surviving?
what? Yeah. Is someone gonna become the cook? Is someone
we're
gonna
all
become the
dead.
hunter?
I think we're dead.
Yeah.
We're dead.
Fire's
Alright.
done. He can't get. He got no signal for Twitter. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Esports Survivor. We need to see the Survivor series where it's just esports pros who do nothing but play video games. Pretty much have to live on an island.
I would wager most of these guys suffer from internet addiction. So just seeing them unplug, that would probably be enough in itself. Like, there's no animals attacking them. There's no shortage of food, but they just don't have internet. So they're like, just shaking in the corner,
Scratching.
under like a
You
palm tree.
got that Overwatch?
Do you guys ever take a day to unplug? Nope.
What are you doing off days?
I mean, yeah, you take like really small breaks. So like when you have an off day, maybe you won't touch Overwatch most of the day.
Most of the day. I like that. It's not like the whole day.
I think most of us still like play the game.
Portion control.
Yeah, like take a little break.
You gotta go get a massage.
I think for the most part, if we didn't have Overwatch, we'd become meatheads and just go to the gym.
Really?
Yeah.
You think you'd be a buff boy if you weren't playing Overwatch?
Yeah.
No. You wouldn't just jump to another game? I think you would jump to another game.
If we didn't have internet.
Internet.
Oh,
No
internet.
Like
No internet.
gaming, no
Because
friends.
like after scrims and after playing comp queue or something, we go to the gym together.
That's awesome. You like spot each other and
do some
who
hyperextensions
can
on the
bench
bench.
the most and how much is that? I don't even know anymore. Like what's a good number?
I don't know because I don't know pounds. I work in kilos, so when I'm up there benching, I just put some on, and I'm like,
That's not a real
that's a little too heavy.
That's not a real
Let me
measurement.
remove some. Okay, this feels good.
Wait, does everybody use kilos? I know the U.S. is like backwards.
I mean,
compared
pretty
to
much everybody else.
the metric system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please use the metric system.
It actually, I mean, it definitely makes more sense. It makes school so much harder for us to have to learn these weird conversion rates of like an 8-ounce cup to 16-ounce to 24. That equals a liter. That doesn't equal a liter. Like a gallon is, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I That was my worst. Fractions and that, I just had no use for it. And the teacher would always say, "You're not going to walk around with a calculator in your pocket." Yeah, Miss McDougal, we showed you.
Dude.
Got it right here.
That kid in school is like, why do we need to learn this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
I literally can talk to my phone and it'll tell me the answer.
Alexa. Do you guys use Alexa?
No.
No.
You can train your Alexa to say, "Who's your favorite Envy Contenders team?" Or Contenders team. And then she says Envy back to you. You guys got to get on that. And then tweet about it, and your girlfriend will be happy because, you know,
There you go.
Because I'm tweeting.
and you're getting that fame, that clout.
Yeah.
We need to teach your Alexa to say it, so then it talks to your Google Home, and then they have their own conversation, and it's creepy. And then you realize that we're gonna get it, you know, taken over by the robots.
And then
one day.
Sombra hacks it all. EMP. It all goes
Oh my God,
downhill.
that was last Lucy.
Are you guys ready for the game Wednesday?
Against Square One. I think later today there's also Contenders matches.
Yeah.
So you guys will be tuning in,
Yeah.
scoping the competition.
Gonna be watching some Fusion, some Legion.
Some defined academy.
Alright. What's your typical schedule look like, script wise, and then of course these games and everything too. So
You wanna go for that one?
Sure. We wake up at around noon probably,
Mhm.
have some breakfast, and then warm up. And then we usually start scrims around 2 to 3 p.m. We usually do 2 to 3 blocks a day of 2-hour increments. And then...
so that's like 6 hours of
just scrims.
scrimming.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So a little bit
straight,
of,
like
oh, we have breaks.
Well,
We do breaks in between.
We-
We've
we-
complained
we-
about that.
We try to have breaks.
I mean,
we
that's
try
still
to
not
have
that
breaks.
much. Like we're talking like what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, in
Shovel some
between,
food
something
and
like,
Yeah.
stuff like
pack
that.
it.
Yeah, it's like maybe we have like a half an hour break in between scrims.
Okay.
And then after scrims, if we have something to review, we'll sit down and review it together.
Mm.
And then after scrims, you can do whatever you want. You can stream, you can play the game, you can...
I mean, that's like 8 hours of dedicated time
Mhm.
to like scrim and review and all that
Yeah.
a day, like a real job, right, guys? Real jobs. Esports is a real job. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not a 9-to-5er.
Yeah. Where do you end at the end of the day? Like that's typically like if you're starting at noon, you're like
It's more like graveyard shift, right? You guys are
Like-
waking up at noon,
Like 2, 3.
Yeah, kind of.
3 in the morning.
Yeah.
That's when you're turning in.
Yeah, we work out at DJ an hour so no one can see us. Right after scrim.
Finish scrims at like 10, 11, then we play a little bit of ranked, and then we go to the gym at like 12 or
At midnight.
midnight or something.
You guys tune into streamers, Overwatch streamers?
Mhm.
Yeah, of course.
What do you guys watch?
Whoever's on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like Defran, Effect, Custa.
Are you picking up tips? Is there stuff you're looking at? Is it just something to have on the TV?
I think it's just like mostly it's just for entertainment value.
Yeah.
So
So now that I'll introduce it like all access pass where you can see players' POVs. You don't
Mhm.
really like for me at least. I don't necessarily go into like another stream to like look for tips or something because now you can see everything.
Is the all access pass important to you guys?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you're almost like mirroring. You're watching like the characters that you play.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then
Not necessarily the characters that we play, but like watching other people.
Yeah. Even watching all the roles is super helpful to like learning what they do and like.
mm-hmm.
10
Yeah,
interact
days.
with it.
That is something that's really interesting in these types of games. Like I don't play League of Legends, right?
Mm.
So
Lol.
it's too overwhelming for me to understand what each character is going to be doing. Like I'm not going to play. Like at least in Overwatch, I have a general concept for even if I'm a tank main, like what the other characters are doing, and you have to learn that like intricately so that you're able to counter them or know what their positioning is going to be. And having a system like this, like that's like so much data that you can ingest and just see constantly the best of the best players and learning roles that you're not going to play because maybe you're not the best hit scan, but you're going to learn what the heck a good hit scan player does. Like what is that like compared to any other game now? Because you didn't have that before, right? Do you think that makes all of the competition more intelligent and more difficult to play against?
I think eventually it will. Like if it's all out there for everyone to see, then everyone's gonna get better. Everyone's gonna learn. So definitely it's gonna be.
Yeah, it gives like the thought behind the action. So like what the player's thinking like ahead of time, I guess. Like you can see their positioning like they're like, okay, I want to sit here to like dodge like the grab diva or dodge the EMP so I can support it after or something.
So considering flex players play exactly that, they flex and they play a bunch of different characters, do you think they have a strategic like advantage because they have experience across the board, or do you think if you're focusing on a main, like is that a disadvantage? You're really good at that one character or that one role, does that put you at a disadvantage against flex?
So like
like I know for myself in particular, like I play tank like 90% of the game, so I don't know how the DPS like I don't see the Sombra. I don't know the path the Sombra's taking.
So maybe like a Timey Widow versus like Lynx or something.
Yeah,
something like that. I'm not sure.
It's hard to answer.
Yeah,
I don't think there's like necessarily like a disadvantage or an advantage.
It's just a per player. Like if you're a good player, you just are a good player, and and you hire. I guess that's why that's how you build out your team too. You got people who are more ult tracking and strategic, and some people are maybe more focused on mechanical. And getting
like there might be like different pros and cons about being like a solid like super hit scan player where you're like really good at Widow, really good at McCree, really good at Soldier, and then you have another person who's like super flexible and can flex onto a lot of things. So they both
complement each other rather than
they're both important.
Yeah.
Defran comes to mind. Did you guys see the grab bomb over the house on Hollywood?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Like, I didn't even know. I don't think anyone knew that was possible.
Well, apparently Arrow posted specifically about it, that it was posted on Reddit like a week before that you could do that.
Really?
Yeah.
That totally stayed off my radar, but it was very
I think as soon as it happened, we knew like in our little circle of like pro players, we knew like, oh, this is going to be known as the Fran grab now, even though it was already posted. But I mean... Yeah,
it change. I don't know. Shanghai could change the C9 to Shang 9. So
yeah, I mean it's cool to see a play like that though. Even though
he seems to be one of the rising influential players in the league. Does anyone else stand out in your guys' mind? Who are the most influential people in Overwatch right now?
In terms of like good play or just like attracting viewers?
Let's do a little bit of both, like a combination. Yeah, you got to have like the full card. You're bringing in viewers, you're trying new things, you're pulling out Torbjorn, those kind of things.
Yeah. Who'd you say? For like attracting different viewers, I would definitely say like people from different countries. So like Mickey, Costa. Who's Swedish now? I should know this.
You know any Swedish players? There's Tvik. There's
Tvik.
Snillo.
Snillo's two-way though, right?
Yeah, but he wasn't in season 1.
Yeah, he was in season. He was pretty good in season 1. He had like one of the.
I don't
best,
think he lost a game in season 1 actually.
Coco's Swedish, right? Co-coach. Co-coach is my favorite. He is so even keel and just the nicest, calmest human being ever. Really smart dude too. So it's cool to see him.
I think if you're talking about like hyped players, DK was super hyped on social media because there was like the rumor about like the buyout situation. The whole bidding war about DK, which we don't even know if it's real or not, but he was definitely one of the most hyped players. So probably Gladiators got some free clout from that.
Clout's important in this esports scene. I mean, it's such a highly viewed. I mean, so much of the importance comes from the views because it's entertainment. So even if you're not the best player in the world, if you're able to get those views, you become influential in this space. Do you find that that's stressful as a player to know that how important that is? Because then that's like a different skill set to create than just being a good player.
Yeah, it's like a different mindset. That's like a mindset you have to like get over time because that's like the mindset of being an entertainer, you know? Like,
I think it's super important though, and it's something that you're gonna eventually have to learn. That entertainment value is super important in an entertainment business. That's just the way it is. Like real sports players have to do that too.
I'm sure no one likes playing goods, but you know, or as the casters call it, 3-3.
3-3, 3-3 guys, 3-3.
So Fire, the Justice call you up tomorrow and they say, hey, we want to bring you up, but you have to dye your hair
blue and red.
Blue and red.
Oh, he'll do it.
You got to get an earring. You got to get a nose ring.
Ooh.
And you got to start wearing like thick gold chains.
Ooh.
You gonna do it?
Nah, you'll do it.
What am I, the new 6ix9ine? What's going on? I'm not sure about that.
you're gonna pass on that one.
What about the nose ring?
We need personalities, man.
Gotta get the grill.
I love when players are vocal. I love the trash talk. It's all in good fun.
Yeah, it's
As long as it's in good fun, right? There's some instances where you're like, that's too personal.
Crossing the line.
Yeah, a little bit of crossing.
right, like that's a part of like being an entertainer and like garnishing like viewers.
Right. So if you weren't an esports entertainer and the rest of your life is filled by music, would you become a musician?
Maybe.
Yeah. You feel like you could pull off that?
Pull off a couple bars. maybe I don't have to rap. Maybe I can just make like EDM music or something, you know?
There you go. There you go.
Oh man, we're gonna let you guys go back to sleep because I know that's what you guys are doing immediately after this, right?
Maybe.
Try to sneak a nap in. We can't thank you guys enough for coming on and talking with us. Tell us when your game is. Tell the viewers when your game is coming up on Wednesday.
Wednesday at 6 p.m.
And they can catch that on.
They can catch it on twitch.tv/Overwatch Contenders.
Right.
Hell yeah.
All right. Tune in for that W, guys. Tune in for that W.
That W.
Right.
It's gonna be interesting. Let's just say that.
It'll be very interesting.
All right.
Mystery. Housekeeping. We have CWL Fort Worth coming up. That's going to be Team Envy's Call of Duty competing the next CWL major event at Fort Worth, March 15th through the 17th.
Yeah, stay tuned for that too on the Envy side, or actually the Fuel side. There is a Overwatch League match happening for Fuel that weekend, so we might try to do something with
maybe
the
a bar
team,
takeover.
Yeah, maybe
Sounds
something like
fun.
that. So if you guys want to hang out, watch some Overwatch, and then go to, the CWL event, that'll be a fun weekend. And speaking of weekends, we also have Ultimate Weekend Dallas coming up. That's going to be April 27th through the 28th. That is the big Overwatch League event happening here in Dallas at the Allen Event Center. 8 teams coming to Dallas. The first ever home games of esports, having the Dallas Fuel.
First
ever. We're going to play the Valiant on Saturday and Outlaws on Sunday. So that'll be really exciting. Get your tickets right now on DallasFuel.com. A lot of those are selling out
it's like 90% gone or something like that.
So
Ridiculous.
Get those tickets, get some good seats, and then we're going to have a lot of fun that weekend. So we hope to see you guys there.
Right on. Join us in the Envy Discord. That's discord.gg/Envy. We have a special queue up channel where you can request future guests who you'd like to see come on. We can bring these guys back. We can play Smash Bros.
Do a cooking stream.
Cooking stream. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
We do that. And as we said earlier, the new merch is coming. Soon. Make sure you're paying attention to our Envy socials because that's going to be coming to you very soon.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, please leave us a review. You can do that on iTunes. It helps us so much. It helps us know what you like, so we keep bringing you that great content.
Yeah, this is still a new thing for us, so we're open to suggestions and definitely want to hear from you guys. And don't forget, do subscribe across whatever platform you're listening or watching this on. We're on, again, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and then, of course, on our YouTube channel for the video content, youtube.com/Team Envy. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. Got lots of other videos. Maybe we'll get these guys in the kitchen and cook some steak.
Cook it up. Till next time, guys, this has been Queue Up. Thanks for watching.